Okay, so till yesterday, what we discussed, or till last class, what we discussed is there are few measures that we wanted to cover, which was related and calculate and all also, right? Now, today we will start with filter. Before that, I'll just revise the calculate formula once more with one of the example, and then we will start with the filter function. And then after filter function, I will talk about like few iterator function like sum x, average x, all those things. And using calculate, there are few dates formula also that we like inside calculate we use dates or time intelligence function, we can I can tell. So we will discuss those. So these three things we will discuss today, and then what are the best practices while creating any calculated columns or measures. And this is the agenda for today's class. So this will cover the entire DAX calculation uh, theory, as well as like whatever we discuss the entire uh, concept. And then if time permits, we will discuss like the basic of the visualization part. If not, then we will start that tomorrow. So starting with the calculate measure, using calculate function, I will create one measure named as overall average price. So I will name it as overall average price is equal to, I will use calculate function. Okay. So under calculate function, what does it do? It calculates or it evaluates an expression in a context modified by filter. So basically what it does is it will evaluate the expression or whatever measure we will give here in the first argument basis on whatever filter we apply. So you can pass on different filters, filter one, filter two, all those things, right? We have discussed this calculate function in detail in last lecture. So you can refer that as well. So I will put expression as we had created average retail price, right? So in the place of expression, I can either you can pull created measure, or you can write the expression over here directly. Both ways it will work. So I have pulled average retail price over here, and then what I want to do is I want to uh, I want to see whether this average retail price is um, so whether this average retail price is greater than product price. Okay, so let me actually check that. How to do that? So I have average retail price over here. Okay, that we will do in the different measures. So here what we will do is we will calculate overall average price. That so to calculate overall average price, what you need to do is you will have the average retail price over here, but I don't want that to change basis on any of the filters that we pull. Okay. So in that case, in the filter section, what we can do is we can use that all function. So we had discussed this all also in last lecture. So what does all do? The purpose of all is if you put any of the column under this all function, then uh, either you can put column or table. Then what happens for that particular table, even if there is some filter that you are applying over here, the overall or whatever measure you will put here, that will not get affected because under filter we have applied all. So The purpose of applying all is it will not react to the changes in the filter context, right? So this is often used, the all function is often used when you need unfiltered values, meaning you don't want your measure to change values based on the filter context. You want the measure to give you overall value in all the rows, and it should not react with the filter that is applied here. In that case, what we can do is we can apply this all function, and this will not react to the changes in the filter context over here. So I will put all, and then I will put table name inside all function. Either you can put column name or table name. So I am putting table name over here, AW products lookup. So with this, what happens? Let me pull that particular field over here that we created, overall average price. So what it is showing me is we have overall average price over here, and if I want to calculate my like if I want to look into only those rows, those orders where product price is greater than average price, in that case we have to have average price in all the rows, right? So what happens? Let's say I pull total orders over here, okay, before average price. Okay, so what I want to do is we have category name, we have total orders, and we have overall average price, right? Now, what does it show? It shows for accessories, we have ordered 169, like 16,983 total number of orders. I want to calculate a measure which shows me the total number of orders for each of these categories where the product price is greater than average price. Okay. So how to calculate that? We can calculate using the calculate function. So let's say I give the name high ticket orders. Okay. And then what I will do, I will write, let's say, calculate, and then total orders. Okay. And then I have to write the filters over here. Okay. So under filter, either you can directly apply the filters as we have done earlier also, like using all function or using some other condition over here, right? So that way you can have the filter saying like you can apply the filter directly, or there is a function called filter. So both ways you can do. I want to show you how the filter function works. So if I put filter function over here, what all arguments filter function takes? There are two arguments that filter function takes. First is table, and the second one is filter expression. Under table, you can give any table name over here. Okay, so we have multiple tables. So whichever table you want to filter, you can have that under filter function. Okay, so let's say under filter, I want to filter product lookup table. Okay, so I will give the name product lookup, and then under filter expression, what do we want to do? We want to filter this particular table. Basically, this filter function will create a subset of table. Let's say you have 1,000 rows in a table and you want to get a virtual table or a virtual table having 500 rows, right? So this filter function, what it does, basis on the expression, filter expression, it will give you a subset of the same table, right? So I want to filter this products lookup table basis on some condition. So what condition that would be? The condition I want to look is wherever product price is greater than average price. In that case, give me the product lookup table. Okay, so here I can, under filter expression, I can put the expression saying product price is greater than overall average price. Okay. If my product price is greater than overall average price, give me total product lookup table, and in that table, the measure will calculate total number of orders. So that is how this function works. I have closed the parenthesis twice, one for filter function and one for calculate function. I will hit enter and I'll pull this high ticket order under values. Okay. So what does it shows? It shows that for 11,000, only for bikes, we have high ticket orders, meaning only for bikes, we have orders in which the product price is greater than overall average price. And there are 11,312 orders in which product price is greater than overall average price. Okay, so I know this is little bit difficult to understand because we are using multiple functions inside functions over functions. These are called nested functions, right? So what I would suggest is don't worry about all these things. Uh, there are three things that you need to remember. One is, you know how calculate functions work, right? We have discussed that. So what does calculate does? Let me open some calculate function. Yeah. So how calculate function works? Inside calculate function, you can input two or three, like you can input first will be expression and then you can input multiple filters, right? So that way this calculate function works. Wherever you want to have or calculate some measure basis on some filters, then you have to use the calculate function. We can discuss the like I have shown you multiple calculate functions, right? So this is one of the example. Then we had used something as bikes or something. In the bike returns also we had used it. So you know like how it works. Under calculate, the first is expression. So if you want to, let's say, calculate bike returns, what you will do? You will use this calculate function, and then what you want to do? You want to calculate total returns given the condition and the condition is category name is equal to bikes, right? Similarly, we have used overall average, in which I want to calculate overall average retail price given there is no filter applied. So that's why we have applied again under, if I want no filter to be, or this measure to change basis on the filter context, we will use the all function. So what does all do? All will remove the filters, like it will, using all, the data won't change. So this average retail price or overall average price that you are seeing, it will not change basis on the filters because we have used all over here, and the filter inside calculate will always take precedence than the normal filter context. So that's why it will look into accessories, bikes and all these, but it will, once it will look into accessories, and then it will look that we have applied again one filter which says don't look at accessories, like we want to look the entire product lookup and then calculate retail price. So in that case it will return the same value in all the rows because it is not getting changed, or the numbers are not getting affected basis on the filter context over here. So that is your calculate function, right? And all function. Then comes filter. So here what all we have calculate function, we have all function. So all you can use within calculate as well, right? Then comes filters. So what does filter do? Filter returns a table that represents subset of another table, right? So that is what we used here in the high ticket order calculation. What does it do? If you look into only into this one right now, because there are multiple, filter is again a function and this is being used inside calculate function. So again you can use filter in calculate function, and what filter does, filter give you a subset of original table, right? So it is giving product lookup, or it is giving a virtual table wherein the, in whichever rows the product price is greater than overall average price, it will keep that row, and if product price is less than overall average price, it will remove that row, right? So how filter function works? Filter function is iterator function. It will iterates row by row by row. So what happens if I go to product lookup? I will show you here. Let me go to product lookup, and then what it will do, that filter function, we have product price over here, right? And we calculated average price, which is 714. So what it does, it will look into first row. Filter function will look into first row. It will see whether this product price is greater than 714 or not, right? Because I know that overall average price is 714. So is it greater than 714? If not, it will remove this. It will not consider this row in the virtual table, that the, like the subset of table that I am talking about. Then it will go to the second row. It will see whether the number is greater than 714 or not. It will remove that. So row by row by row, it will check this value against overall average price. And if this value is greater, let's say in this row, it is 1263, which is greater than 714. It will keep this row. So in the final table, this this table you won't be able to see. The table that I am talking about, this you won't be able to see. This entire thing is happening in the back end. So what does this filter function do? It, imagine a table has been created which you can't see, wherein you have only those rows where product price is greater than overall average price. So it will have only those rows where product price is greater than average price, greater than 714. And once you have that table wherein you have only those rows where the product price is greater than overall average price, it will calculate total number of orders. So for those rows, how many total orders were placed. So we we got that the total orders for those rows is 11,312, and that is coming from bikes. So meaning for other categories, we don't have any row where we have product price greater than overall average price, and that's why we are not seeing any values over here, right? So that is how the combination of calculate and filter functions work, right? Any question, anyone? I know this is little bit getting complex, but I think we are almost there. These are the functions that people use to create more complex queries and high-end dashboard, right? So we are discussing those. So it might be little bit difficult to grasp, but like, are you getting like whatever I'm trying to explain, or you have like you didn't get anything till now?
Yeah, I'm trying to to get the ideas. But when you use the filter, so it's gonna be checking, like every row by rows.
Yes, so filter is a iterated function. So it will iterates row by row by row. So every row it will check. As I mentioned, it will look into first row, and whatever condition you will under filter, if I click here, under filter, whatever condition. So what is the syntax of filter function? The syntax of filter function is first it will, you have to give the table name in which table you want to look or you want to apply those filters. So I want to look into product lookup table, so that's why I've given product lookup. And then the second part is the condition, the filters that you want to have in this table. So we have applied the condition saying filter the product lookup table basis on this condition, which is product price is greater than overall average price. So what it does, it will go to the product lookup table, and then it will start looking from the first row and then see if product price is greater than the overall average price or not. And I know that overall average price is 714. So what it will check? It will check whether the first 34.99 is greater than 714 or not. If not, it will not consider this row. Then it will go to the second row. So row by row by row by row, it will keep on checking. And wherever the condition is true, this condition is true, it will keep that row. And wherever the condition is false, it will not, it will chop off that row. So you will have, basis on this condition, you will have fixed set of rows. So all rows will not qualify, right? You can see the values over here. So out of this 293 rows, let's say you have like subset of 100 rows or whatever qualifies, you will get like one, imagine one virtual table having only those rows wherever the product price is greater than overall average price. So that particular table will be created using this, the entire function filter and this function. And then once you have that table, then what we are trying to tell, we are trying to tell that calculate total orders basis on this table, right? So if you look into total orders, what exactly we have, we want to calculate total number of distinct count, basically how many total orders we had placed, right? So looking at those rows, we will calculate the total number of orders. So that's why under calculate, first argument is we what exactly you want to calculate. We want to calculate total orders. So that's why the first is total orders, and then basis on what condition you want to calculate total orders. So this is the condition that I want to calculate, basis on which I want to calculate total orders. So that way this entire function is working. Is it clear?
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. Shahnaz, are you confused or like understanding
Uh,
any question?
yeah, I'm trying to understand. No, no, Meha, because I think more practice is needed for this type of measures.
Yeah, exactly. Because there are multiple nested functions that is getting applied. So you guys will have to do hands-on, try to incorporate all this. So then you will understand it better. But are you getting idea like how these are working, all
Yes,
these functions?
yes, yes,
Okay,
Neha.
okay, great. So this is all about calculate and filter and all function we discussed, right? All those filters we discussed. Now I will talk about something called as iterator function, right? So similarly, like the way we have sum, average, max, min, all those. If I go into my dashboard and click on the measure, create measure, new measure. So there is, let me actually uh, write, let's say total revenue. Okay. Okay. And right now I calculate using sum function. Okay. So you know that how sum works. Sum will look into the column and then it will aggregate the entire value, right? So inside sum function, this we had discussed earlier also. So inside sum, we have to put only one argument, which is column name. So I want to calculate total revenue. So I will pass the revenue column in here. So I have, if you write revenue, it will start highlighting at the bottom. So it showed me that we have revenue column in sales table. So that's what I pulled in, and I created total revenue calculated column, CC meaning calculated column. Basis on calculated column we did. Let me actually pull order quantity and total revenue. Okay. So what we did, we calculated total revenue using the sum function, right? Now I want to talk about sum x. What does it does? We have something as sum x. So let me create one total revenue column and I will show you what is sum x. So as soon as you put sum x, sum will directly aggregate. Under sum, you have to put one column name as an argument, and that's it, right? Under sum x, if you see, the syntax is little different. The first syntax is table and the second syntax is expression. And what does sum x do? Returns the sum of an expression evaluated for each row in a table, right? Now, what does this mean? So this means this sum x is iterator function, and this will allow you to loop through the same calculation or expression on each row of table. So now let me, instead of going here, let me explain first what does each of these mean. So sum x meaning aggregation to the calculated column. Table is the table, you have to put the table name in which you want to apply expression. And expression is to be, this is to be evaluated for each row of the given table. Now, how sum and sum x is different? Let me go here and show you. So if you see here under sales table, we had created something as retail price and revenue. And this retail price we created using related function last in our last lecture. So what does related function does? Related function pulls the price or pulls any column from another table into other table. So what here we are doing is we are getting the product price, pulling the product price from product lookup table, and from product lookup table we are getting the product price, and we wanted the same product price in our sales table, right? So we have used related function. It will look into the product key, and basis on the product key, it will whatever value, whatever price we will have related to product key in product price, product lookup table, we will have the same price over here in the sales table, right? This is what we had created last time. So let me actually sort it, right? So we have 223. Let's say we have 223 in starting few rows in the sales table. And we under product lookup also, if we look into product lookup, we have, let's say, 223 over here, right? So what is the price for 223? The price for 223 is product price. If you look into, we have 8.64, right? 8.64 is related to 223. So the same value, if you see in the sales table for 223, we have 8.64 retail price. So what we did, exactly same column that we had in product lookup, which was named as product price. We just changed the name as retail price over here, but the values are exactly same, and we pulled it from product lookup table, and we have the same column in sales table. So if you want to have the same column in some another table, you can use related function and have that column in another table. So we used related function over here. And then once we have this related retail price in sales table, we calculated revenue using this retail price and order quantity. So this is something we did last time, right? In the sales table. But the drawback here is using related. Since this column is existing in the table, it is increasing the file size, right? And revenue also we calculated here as a calculated column, right? So for each row, this revenue is calculated and it is existing in the table. So that's why the file size will increase. So instead of doing like this, we can do the same thing using iterator function, which is sumx and all those things. So under sumx, what you can do, I can create total revenue column. Instead of doing like that, instead of creating total revenue calculated column and then applying sum function, we can calculate the total revenue directly as a measure using sumx function. How we can do that? So under sumx function, what all argument we pass? We pass table and then we pass expression. So in which table you want to do calculate, or using which table you want to calculate total revenue? I want to calculate total revenue basis on the sales table, right? So I will under table, I will put sales, comma. Here you want to put expression, right? So what expression I want to put? I want to put order quantity multiplied by retail price that we had created over there, that we have created using related function. So now what it will do, let me talk about that. So what this formula will do, for each row, it will calculate order quantity multiplied by retail price. For each row, it will calculate order quantity multiplied by retail price. And once that value is present, you can't see that value, but once it multiplies order quantity by retail price, at the end, it will sum all the values. So let me go here and talk about this. So you have order quantity and you have retail price. How you have calculated revenue? You have multiplied retail price into order quantity, right? So in each row, you have multiplication of retail price into order quantity. That is basically your revenue, right? So the same formula, retail price into order quantity, we are applying over here under total revenue measure, right? So here, if you see what we are doing, we are multiplying order quantity multiplied by retail price, right? So this is what we are doing, but instead of creating a separate column, what this sumx function will do, it will create a virtual like it will do the calculation in the back end. It will have all the values in each of the row, and it will also apply some function on that virtual column that has been created using this formula, order quantity into retail price, right? So if I pull total revenue over here, see, total revenue CC and total revenue are having exactly same value. Total revenue CC is calculated basis on the revenue column that we created, and then we applied this sum function, right? Wherein total revenue measure that we have created, here we used sum x function. Within inside sum x function, we applied that formula, right? And we calculated sum. So this using sum x function, what happens? It will not store the value in the table itself, right? It will do the calculation in the backend and give you can directly visualize it here in the value section in the matrix, right? So in that way, your file size will not increase. So sumx function is a iterator function, and it will just imagine that this sumx function that we have used, it will add a temporary new column. Like you will not be able to visualize that column. The way we are able to see this revenue column in the table, you won't be able to see or visualize that table, but this function is adding a temporary new column to the table, calculate the value in each row based on expression that we have applied over here, and then it will apply the aggregation to that new temporary column that it had created. So everything will, like the table won't be visible in the, or the column won't be visible in the table. It will be a temporary column that happens in the backend, and the value will be calculated in each row. Once the value has been calculated in each row, then this aggregation is applied to that new column. And hence, you see the same value in total revenue because the calculation is same. In one, we have the value existing in the table and it is increasing the file size. In another, we are doing everything inside measure, right? So that is the difference between the iterator function and the normal function, right? In the normal sum function, you will have, like, the normal sum function will directly apply aggregation, but in sumx function, you can have some expression and then you can do the aggregation, right? So it is an iterator function. First of all, it will do some calculation in each row and then it will do aggregation. In some function, you already have a column existing. It will directly apply to that column. That aggregation will be applied to that column. So the difference between iterator function and the normal sum or average function is normal sum, average, count, all those functions will be applied to the column, and sum x, average x, count x, all those iterator function will be applied row by row, and then aggregation will happen. That is the difference between iterator function and normal sum, average, all those functions. Is this clear? Or any question you can ask?
Yeah, I do get the ideas.
Yeah. But like, what is the difference between these two function? Let's say we have sum function and we have sum x function. We have sum x function. So like the difference, are you getting like what is the difference between both these functions? So the
Like for the sum x, it does like it calculates like as a when we do the formulas, is calculated by itself, you know.
yeah, so sum function is also aggregation function, sum x function is also aggregation function. At the end, it will do summation only. But in some function, it will directly, you have to directly give, like it will applies on a column, right? If I show you some function, it is getting applied on a column inside a table, right? It will directly get applied on the column of a table and give you aggregated value, right? But in sum x, what happens? It will it will do calculation row by row by row. So this calculation that we have put under this sum x function, order quantity into retail price multiplied by retail price, order quantity multiplied by retail price is getting applied in each row. So this calculation happens on each row. That's why we call it as iterator function. Why? Because it iterates row by row by row. It will calculate value in each row. It will add a temporary new column to the table. Value will be calculated in each row. And then once that column has been created, that temporary column has been created, then the sum function will get applied to that column. So there are two steps in this iterator function. One is it will operate row by row by row, and then it will get applied, then the aggregation will get applied to the temporary column. In some function, we directly input the column name inside this function, and it aggregates the values. That is the difference between iterator function and the normal function. Is it clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Okay. So there are few iterator functions. So that is the difference. Like in normal, let's say I talk about average, any function, let's say average retail price. What we do under normal function, we directly input the column name, right? It looks into the column and it aggregates all the values. But in iterator function, first of all, it will operate row by row by row. It will look into each row and apply the functions, apply this calculation that we are doing, giving in the second argument. And once that calculation happens for each row, a new temporary column has been created, then the aggregation happens. So there are two steps in the iterator function. Okay. Okay. So so this is what I had for iterator function. And then there are two or three more time intelligence function that is there, that is used within calculate function. So I will quickly talk about those. So let me create few of the uh, function over here, like few of the measures, and then I can talk about it. So there is something called performance to date. Okay. And what I want to do is, let's say I have calculate function. Okay. So under calculate, I know that we have expression and then filter, right? So let's say I put some measure over here. Okay. Or let me create YTD revenue. YTD is year till date revenue. So till date, whatever revenue we have generated, like starting from 1st 2023 till let's say 13/6/2023, that is year till date. So in the current year till date, whatever revenue we have generated. So year till date revenue, and then we have calculate function. Inside this, the first is expression, right? So we put total revenue. And then under filters, we can filter we can apply filter basis on some time intelligence function, right? So there is something called dates YTD. Okay. Similarly, we have dates MTD, month till date. So what does dates YTD do? Under dates YTD, we have this dates YTD filter returns a set of dates in the year up to current date, right? So it will return a set of date in the year up to current date. So we want only those dates to calculate year till date value, right? So we want dates till the current date, and then basis on those dates, total revenue will be calculated, right? So under dates YTD, we can input dates. So date we can pull from calendar table directly. We have date over here, right? Year end date is something that is optional. It's not mandatory to put. So I can close this bracket and let me pull those. Okay. So let me have, let's say start of the month. And then I'll pull YTD revenue. Yep. So basically what it does is, and then before this, let me pull total revenue. Okay. So what it is doing is, if you see YTD year till date revenue, what it does is on 1st 2015, right? Total revenue and year till revenue is pretty much same, right? On 2nd January 1 to 2015, total revenue was 532. Under year till date revenue, we have 1117. So what it does, year till date revenue meaning till date, whatever revenue has been generated. So till 2nd, we have generated 585 plus 532. So it will add these two value and then give you one value, right? Then on 1/3, it is giving me 17, meaning year till date we have generated these much revenue, right? 6.4, 5.3, 5.8, all these. So it will aggregate these three value and give you this. So that's how we calculate year till date revenue, right? So what is the formula for year till date? Under calculate function, you can calculate total revenue basis on some filter, which is dates YTD. Dates YTD is a function which will return the date till, like, for each row it will return till date, like till this date, right? Dates YTD is looking at the calendar lookup date, and for each row, let's say third. So it will return, it will tell me that aggregate this total revenue till third. If you look into 1/4, what this will do, dates YTD, it will tell that we are on 1/4/2015, and you have to measure total revenue till date 1/4/2015. So that's how dates YTD works. If you put instead of dates YTD, we have dates month till date also. So till 1 month, till let's say here, for each month, it will calculate total revenue. So as we have dates YTD, we will have dates month till date, dates QTD, dates quarter till date. Likewise, like we have three functions over here: dates YTD, dates MTD, dates QTD. Let me show you here. So if I put dates, no, you will see we have dates MTD, dates QTD, dates YTD. What does all of these mean? Dates YTD is, it will give you value, or you can calculate value, which is called dates year till date. Then we have dates quarter till date, and then we have dates month till date, right? So you can calculate values basis on the dates that we have here. Okay, so we calculated dates YTD, and then here I will put calendar date. For each of the function, you have to put dates inside, and we have dates in the calendar lookup. So that's why we have put calendar lookup date inside this dates YTD. Close this. So this is how we have dates YTD. Similarly, we have something called as dates add. There is one more function which is dates add. So let me calculate one more function which is previous month revenue, right? So how to calculate this? Again, all this time intelligence function is used within calculate function. Like all these measure time intelligence is basically used within calculate function. So let's say I want to calculate total revenue. And then there is something called, if you put date add. So there is something called date add. Okay. What it does, it will give you the set of dates for a specified interval, right? So let's say I want to look into previous month date, like previous month revenue. So under dates, I will put calendar lookup date, number of interval, meaning let's say I am in current month, and I want to look into the revenue that we generated in previous month, right? So in that case, what we can do, we can put number of intervals. -1 meaning previous month or previous year or whatever. -2 meaning 2 months back. Under interval, you can put various interval. Either you can put day. So if you see here, we have day, month, quarter, year. So you can go back. -1 meaning 1 month, 1 day, 1 quarter, 1 year, depending on what you choose in the interval. -2 meaning you can go 2 months, 2 day, 2 quarter, 2 year back. So if you want, let's say what I want to look into, I want to look into previous month revenue. So I want to look into, if I am in the current month, what was my previous month revenue? So what I will do, I will look into the date. First, under date add, we have dates. Then we have number of intervals. So how many month I want to go back? previous month I want to go back. So that's why under number of interval, I have put -1. And then we have interval. Under interval, I will put month. So meaning go 1 month back. So I have put month, close parenthesis. So what it will calculate? It will, if I pull previous month revenue over here. Okay, so if you see what it is doing on the first 2015, it is giving me blank because I don't have any date prior to this. But on first second 2015, meaning when you are in second month, which is like February, this is January, this is February, right? So in February, what value you are getting? You are getting value for the previous month, right? Because how we have calculated previous month? We have calculated previous month. So I am telling that calculate total revenue given the condition this. And what is this condition? This condition is telling me that look into the calendar date. So in the second row, the calendar date is February 1st. Like we are in February month. Look into calendar date. Go 1 month back. -1 meaning 1 month back. So it went to 1 month back, looked into total revenue and gave that value, which is 585. Is it clear?
Yes.
Okay, so that's how this date add function is working. So for each of these month, what we are trying to do, we are telling go 1 month back and give me that value. So that's how we have calculated this previous month. So date add is one of the function which we use within calculate function. This will help you calculate previous month revenue, right? So is this clear? So till now what we discussed two formula. One is date add using date add meaning you are adding few dates in the current date or you are subtracting few date in the current date, right? Date add, if you just simply try to understand in English language, what is it? Date add meaning you are adding or subtracting dates from the current date. That's why there is a function exists that is date add. How this is adding dates? It is looking into the date and then it is applying this function, which is -1 month, meaning you subtract 1 month from the current date. So it subtracted 1 month from the current date. And then what you give me? You give me total revenue. So it gave me 585,312. Similarly, if you are in third month, it subtracted 1 month from the current date, which is which is February. It gave you that value over here. Is it clear?
Yes.
Did -1.
Shayanaz?
So if you
Yeah.
if you
Yes,
want to
yes,
make
ma'am.
if you want to get 2 months previous, you can make -2.
I can do -2 and you will see the values how it will work here. So see,
Oh yeah.
first 2 months is not there. It is giving me 2 months back. Then this is giving me 532, right? So when you are in fourth month, it is giving me value of second month.
Second month, yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
that's how date add function works. And then we discussed year till date and all those things. Was that clear? Let me go here. So how this works is year till date. It will look into the current date, year till date, right? So let's say we are in third month. So what it does till date, it will look into all the dates till date. Dates YTD meaning year till date. So it will look into the current date, whatever we are, and it will look into all the dates backdated, like previous to the 1/3/2015. So we had all these dates, first, second 2015, first 2015, and all those. So it will look into all those dates, and what it will give me? It will give me total revenue, right? So till date, how many, like total revenue that was generated. So which is 585, 532, 643. So it will add all these and it will give you total revenue over here. So that's why you see the first month is 585, second is 1117. Why? Because it is looking into this date, second, like 1 Feb 2015, and then prior to 1 Feb 2015, whatever we had generated, right? Till date, till this, whatever we have generated, it will look into total revenue. It will give you, it will add those revenue and give you total revenue over here, right? Similarly, till here, here, here. So you see, it will keep on adding all these. And then suddenly in 1/1/2016, it changed. It is 432. Why? Because this is year till date. So for one date, 1 year till 2015, it added, but as soon as you enter in 2016, year till date. So 2016 is first month. So it gave you 432. Then first, second, 2016, what does it give? It will look into year till date. So in this 2016 year, you have till February month. So it will add only these two values, 432 and 473, which is 906,588. So it is giving me this value. Similarly, it will keep on adding year till date till 2016. And then again 2017, you see 1274 because year till date is only like first month of 2017. Is it clear?
Yes, Meha.
Yeah.
Becca, you got like
Yes.
how this dates YTD is working, right?
Sure.
Okay. Okay, so these are two functions. The one last function I'll talk about, which is running total. Okay, so how it works is we have a function called dates in period. So I will talk about that. Let me create running total. What I will do is 10 day 10-day rolling revenue. Okay, so again, this function will be used inside calculate. And first is expression. So I want to calculate total revenue. So that is total revenue. And then the function is dates in period. So dates in period. Under dates in period, what all you can put? You can put dates, start date, number of interval, all those. Returns the dates from given period. Okay. So let's say you want to calculate total revenue for 10-day interval, meaning if you are on first date, 1st January 2015, you want to calculate total revenue till 10th January 2015. And then, so let me first write this, then I will show you with examples. So that way it will be more clear for you. So the first is dates. So I will write calendar date over here. Then start date is max of calendar date. And then we have max of calendar date. Then we have number of interval, let's say -10. And then we have, again, you have day, month, year, quarter, whatever. So let's say right now I pull day, close bracket. This. Let me actually change this to show you like how it works. 10-day rolling. Let me this. And then date. Okay. So now You can ignore this blank value. That is how the Power BI works. But you can look from here, from the first 2015. Now what happens? So let me click on 10-day rolling so that I can explain. Yeah. So here, what we are trying to do, what we are saying is, in the first column, we have dates, 1st January 2015, 2nd January 2015, all the dates. Okay. Then we are saying, I want to calculate 10-day rolling revenue. 10-day rolling revenue meaning as soon as you keep on going dates by dates, you want to have in this column, you want to calculate total revenue for last 10 days, right? So if you see here, on first 2015, we had 8351. Okay. On first 2015, what we are saying, look into last 10 days. So we don't have 10 days data. We have only here 2 days data. So it will look into 2 days and then it will add these two values. Okay. If you are on third date, it will add these three values. If you are on fourth day, it will add these four values. Why? Because I want to look into last 10 days data, right? I will look into last 10 days and then calculate total revenue. So till when we are on 10th day, what it will look into, it will look into all the previous 10 days, including this day, and give you this value, total revenue. What happens on 11th day? Again on 11th day, what it will do, it will look into last 10 days. So for 11th day, it will add 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3 till 2. It will not consider 1 because 10-day rolling revenue meaning like wherever you are. Okay, let's say you are on 16th January, it will look for last 10 days value and then it will give you that value over here. It will add all those values and give you that value over here. So that way, wherever you are in the on the date, it will calculate last 10 days rolling revenue, like last 10 days revenue. So that how we can do that? That is done using dates in period function. So what it does, under dates in period, the first function is calendar lookup. Okay. The second function is max of calendar lookup date, meaning let's say you are on 10th. Let's say you are on 10th January 2015. It will consider that this is the maximum date that we are in. And then from here, look back to 10 days. This is the interval. Instead of 10, you can look back 30 days. You can look back 1 month, right? Whatever. So in whatever date you want to look back, from that max date, it will look back. This is the interval. And the interval can be in terms of day, month, year, whatever. So if instead of day, I will do month. So what will happen? Let's say I do -1 and then month. Okay. So what it will give me? Enter. So what it will give me? It will add values for 1 month till here. So when you are on 30th, it will, so 1 month is basically 30 days or 31 days, right? So what it will do? It will, when you are here, it will add all the values prior to this 30, like 1 month, it will add all the revenue. So as soon as you are on 31st, it will add, like January is 31st month. So it will add all the values prior to 31st. Then when you are on first, what it will do? It will add 1 month, like it will look 1 month back, and till 1 month, the entire date, whatever is till 1 month, it will add all those values over here. So that's how this dates in period work, meaning you are looking in dates between some period, right? You are looking into 10 days or 15 days or 20 or whatever dates, and then based on that date, you are calculating your revenue over here. Okay. So understanding as minus 10 comma day is easier. So that's why I kept it like this. So that's how the dates in period function work. Any doubt?
No, ma'am.
Becca?
No.
Okay, good. So we have dates in pairs. So uh, that this is the last function that we were discussing. We have almost covered the entire function that is out there in the like that is available, and most important functions we have covered. With this, like we are done with the DAX measures, calculated columns, and all those things. Before I wrap up, 2 or 3 things I wanted to talk about. What are the best practices that is out there? Whenever there is option to use measure instead of calculated column, right? So why I'm telling that is, let me show you in this example. Let's say total returns, right? There is, what happened? Let's say total return. We are here. So this revenue column, we have this revenue column we have done using calculated column also, and we have created total revenue using measure also, right? In today's lecture, we discussed how to calculate total revenue using measure, right? Instead of using calculated column, because calculated column eats space. It will increase the file size. So the best practice is wherever you can create measure instead of calculated column. In place of calculated column, if the same thing can be done using measure, always try to use that. Always try to create measure instead of calculated column, because calculated column increases file size as it is stored in, it takes actual space, it is stored in the table, the values are stored in the table. Hence, try to use measure as much as you can, right? The other thing is, we discussed in the first few lectures implicit and explicit measure. Explicit measure meaning we are creating measures using some aggregation function, right? Implicit measure is if you pull raw field into this value section, it will automatically do summation. It will automatically apply some aggregation function, right? So it's better to explicitly measure, like create explicit measure, explicitly mention the measure using aggregation function, because that you can refer into another formula, right? So use explicit measure or create explicit measure even for the simple calculation like sum, average, all those things, because that you can refer in another formula, right? So once you create explicit measure, it can be used anywhere in the report and as an input to other or more complex calculation, right? So that's why it's recommended to use explicit measure and create even for the simple calculation like sum, average, all those things, right? Then the other thing is minimize use of iterator function, right? Like if iterator is basically sum x, average x, and all those things. So minimize use of those. Why? Because iterator function will work row by row by row by row, right? So calculation, like the calculation that is being done row by row, it will take time and it will slow your entire process. It will make your dashboard little slow, right? So that's why, like, I don't say that don't use iterator function, but minimize use of iterator function so that the speed and your dashboard responds quickly, the speed is good and all those things. So these are the basic um, things that you should keep in mind while working with measures and calculated columns, right? So just to wrap up everything, because this measure and calculated column was one of the most uh, like we discuss is I think more than for 1 week or so. So I will just reiterate everything. We started with date and time function. These are the calculated columns or measures. These are the functions that we use in calculated columns or measures. There are first category, which is date and time function, wherein you use date, month, year, hour, weekday, today, all these. Then we have something called basic logical function, wherein we discuss something as if function, and function, or function, switch function. Then we have text functions, wherein we can calculate length, concatenate, left, right, mid, upper, all these. Right. Then we have basic math and stat function, using which we have used to in the measures, where you can use sum, average, max, min, divide. Then there is something called count function, which is count, counted, distinct count, count rows. Then came little complex, which is related function, calculate function, all, and filter. All and filter can be used within calculate function, right? Then we discussed inside calculate, we have some more function, which is uh, time intelligence function, which is date, add, today that we discussed, right? Date, add, date, year till date, date, quarter till date, dates in period, and all those, right? Then we discussed iterator function, which is sum x, average x, max, min, all those. So if you know these many functions that we discussed, this would be about 30-40 functions in total. If you know the use of all these functions, like you will create these, and that will come through practice. But these are, just understand that these are like 40 functions that you should know, and if you know this, you will be able to create the dashboard, right? So with this, our DAX lecture is completed, and then if you have any question, you can ask me right now.
No, ma'am.
Okay, good. Becca.
And now for now, I don't have.
Okay, great. So we are done with the DAX one. Before wrapping it up, I think we are like we have covered most of these, but just to start the visualization side, I want to give you like brief how this looks and all those things. We will not do any visualization today, but just for like 2-3 minutes, I'll give brief, and then I'll wrap the today's session. So we are done with this. I will delete this so that now this is a like blank page. And if you see, we have come a long way. We created all these tables, we created this model, we created DAX calculations and all those measures, and now we have everything here that is required to create visualization, right? So the most exciting part of creating any dashboard, right? So we are now in the report view, right? This is the report view. This is a blank canvas wherein we will do visualization, right? If you look into bottom, what all we have? We have page one, right? You can add as many page as you want. Page one, page two, page three, right? Towards the right side, what all we have? We have three sections. First is filters. You can explicitly apply filter on this page, right? Then there's another section which is filters on all pages. So you can apply filters on all pages in one go. If you pull any filter over here, that filter will be applied to all pages, right? This is filter section. Then we have visualization pane, right? Wherein at the top you have all the different types of charts that are available, right? And the below you have few functionality, which is cross report, keep all filters. This we will talk in detail, drill through functionality in our lectures, right? Then towards the right, we have fields. This fields pane has all the fields that you want during visualization, right? So we have multiple tables over here, and under each table we have different fields, right? We have text field, we have numerical field. So you can pull any of these to do visualization, right? So we have three sections. One is filter pane, one is visualization pane, and one is field pane. All these will be used during visualization. You can have multiple pages over here. Why do we have multiple pages? In various cases, first page we create as executive summary, right? At an overall level, how our business is performing. So we will have executive summary. And then in another pages, we will have detailed information, right? So let's say at an overall level, our business is doing good or is not that good. Then what exactly, which product is not performing good? Or what is happening? So in detail, we can discuss in other pages. So that's why you can have multiple pages in your report, right? So that is how this entire view has been built. We will discuss more about all these visualizations, and we will create visualizations using different charts in our next class. But just wanted to give you brief about how everything looks, right? So with this, I will wrap up today's class, and then from tomorrow, hopefully it will be easier to understand, right? Because I know calculations and everything is little difficult to grasp, and it will come with practice. But visualization is something that is the end goal while creating any dashboard, right? So from tomorrow, we will discuss those. Any
Yeah,
questions?
sure, ma'am. No, ma'am.
Okay, great. Becca, you good?
Yeah, I'm good. Yeah.
Okay, great. Okay, then see you guys tomorrow. Thank you.
Yeah, sure, ma'am.
Thank you.
Have a nice
Bye.
day. Bye.
Yeah.